Inside 50 and it might work. Greenwood got on the boot quick and got it home.
Important possession here. Who wins it? The Eagles. Williams is run down from behind by Greenwood.
Three Eagles charged forward. The Kangaroos, they were gone.
Give me your little microphones.
I'm going to take over the world.
You can take over the world.
Hugh Greenwood, welcome to
Marty.
Shinboner Stories.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to be here.
This is a dream come true. I think everyone watching is going to be like, oh my God, she's just beaming the whole time.
People act like we don't do this and hang out every week.
We
We're
hang
besties.
out all
We
the
hang
time.
out all the time. We talk all the time. This is pretty much a standard
This
Wednesday
is-
for
yeah,
us. So
pretty
now
much.
we're just recording it. So here we are.
For everyone at home,
Yeah.
Introduce yourself. People know who you are, but just in case.
Yes, Marnie's best friend, Hugh Greenwood, recently retired. Still doing some stuff for the AFLW, which is really, really exciting, but off to the Gold Coast in the next fortnight. So getting in while I can.
The final farewell.
This is it, yeah. Well, as of, what's...
Today's the 29th?
Today's the 30th.
30th?
Whenever November ticks over, that's when I'm officially done. So this pretty much could be, is November 31 days? I mean, is October 31?
Yeah, Friday's the 1st of
Halloween.
November.
Good, Halloween.
Oh.
So as of Friday, I will no longer be employed at North Melbourne. So this is much my last working day at the club.
Don't, you're going to make me cry. Let's make the most of it while you're still
Yes,
here.
Here we are.
You have a really interesting journey from finishing up school to starting at the AFL. You've lived basically in every city in Australia. You've also lived overseas. You were a basketball guy.
Mm-hmm.
You came back to Australia to play with the Perth Wildcats, and within months you signed as a Category B rookie to the Adelaide Crows. Why?
Someone's been on Wiki.
I just know. No, this just lives in my brain rent free.
Of course. Yeah. Well, I guess my wife and I were only reflecting on this yesterday with the kids in the house, like that the decision to go from basketball to footy and where it's taken us and what it's been able to do for us. Like it was just such a risk and something that we just happened so quickly, but so grateful that it happened. I guess I came back from the US, went over there with big goals and aspirations. I was emergency for the 2012 Olympics, went over to the States thinking if I do everything right that I'll be a chance for 2016, but I graduated in 2015 from UNM over in the States. Had a really good time, of course, but probably enjoyed myself a little bit too much, and so I left the same player that I arrived as, so I didn't really improve anything. I reckon I regressed. So in 4 years, I sort of wasted that time, got cut straight away from the Olympic squad before. This is 2015, so preparation for the Olympics, all those Boomers teams got cut pretty much straight away. So I knew that 2016 was a really, really unrealistic chance. So I was sort of sitting there in Perth thinking, what am I doing this for? I've come back to Australia to play in Australia and prepare for the Olympics the following year, and I've already been cut. So I just thought, all right, is this really what I want to do? The highlight was college, playing in front of big crowds and traveling around the US and playing against NBA talent, doing all this really fun stuff. How was I ever going to replicate that? So my goal was to make it to the highest level in my chosen sport, which at the time was basketball. It was Olympics, it was NBA, and that was that door was pretty much closing. So this AFL one sort of opened up. All right, if I'm going to be in Australia, what's the biggest and best sport? And it's AFL. I'll give it a crack. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I can always sort of come back and play a lower level basketball. But thankfully, almost 10 years on, it did work out. It took some time as a Category B, of course, in Adelaide. But so grateful for that journey and have bounced around since then. And it's all come to an end in the last month.
Talk to me about the 2017 grand final, because that undoubtedly, while the result didn't go your way, it would have been the build-up that week in particular would have been something out of this world.
Yeah, the grand final still hurts. Still can't watch any since, and haven't played in finals since.
You haven't watched the grand
I'll
final
watch
since?
bits and pieces, but I won't watch them. No.
Really?
We're at the fair. Where do we go? We've been to the fair or the show the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
Like we go that
the Royal Melbourne show.
Yeah, the Melbourne show.
Oh
Yeah. We go to the show. We don't. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it, but I won't have a whole lot of interest in it. Still hurts, but I guess I went in that day thinking like this is a sort of fairy tale finish. Like I've gone from basketball to footy. I debuted that year, debuted round 9, played every game. Knew that like mum was really crook, so it was probably going to be her last game. Like this is it. The decision was worth it. I've gone from basketball to footy. What a story! 15 games in, I'm going to win a grand final, and wasn't the case at all. Lost the granny. The build up was awesome though. The experience was still cool. Certainly a highlight. Like kicking a goal grand final day and I kicked a goal in the pocket and family was just in that pointed up to them like they were in right behind the goals there, which was surreal. I went in with a sore calf. Got up for it, but then did my other calf in the first quarter. So I knew straight away. Started off with kicked the goal in the first. Started off really well.
Yep.
And then just pinged a soleus calf on the other side straight away. So both were gone, and the team, we dropped away. We went at a half time. I remember in the rooms at half time.
It was pretty even the first half.
Yeah, at the half time, you would have thought we were down. Without reflecting on it, we're not now knowing the actual score. I know we weren't down by much, but we went in there and you would have thought we were down by 40, and we brought that same energy out after half time, and it quickly became 40 very quickly. So awesome day, awesome experience, and again, you just take it for granted. It was my first year. We were a really, really good team that hadn't even come into their prime yet. Like Lynchy and Tex and Sloaney and Eddie and all those guys were still 28 to 30. They hadn't. We still thought we'll be back next year. We'll go. Yeah, we'll have another crack next year, and we went on this awesome camp that off season, trying to find that mental edge, trying to find that last percent, and she was all sort of downhill from then on. And I think I stuck around for another. I signed a 2-year after that because it was my first year. First year they were like, oh, it's just it's grand final woes. Next year nothing changed, and then 10 of us left. That
mass exodus.
10 of us were gone. External review, head coach gone, head of football gone. Head assistant gone, they started from scratch, so never recovered, unfortunately.
Maybe he's going to have 3. What a dream debut for Hugh Greenwood.
Greenwood! Mark of the night. Huge from Hugh. Greenwood! Got it!
Up towards the full forward zone. Back flies, and that is an absolute beauty.
Walker's got his eyes set on this. Offhand, Greenwood out of midair.
You went off to the Gold Coast. What was your time like there?
I loved the Goldie. Again, if we would have the goal and the plan was to stay in Adelaide forever. We loved Adelaide. They'd put years and years of time into me. Even before I got to the footy club, Hamish Ogilvy and David Noble had spent years trying to get me to come back. So I felt really invested in Adelaide. Kirsten loved it. It was just so easy for us. So it was disappointing to be told to look elsewhere, but thankfully it did, because I was able to get to the Gold Coast and play, to be genuine in the 22 every week and play some pretty good footy. And again, knowing that one day I wanted to be a coach, to be around we were at a really senior group in Adelaide, but then to go to a really young group,
it's like chalk and cheese.
Yeah, we need to come up. We need you to help. We got Matt Rowell and Noah Anderson coming in. We've got these really young midfield group. We need some senior experience. Obviously, I'd only played 50 games, so in terms of playing experience, not much, but just
life
experience, physical, a bigger body. Honestly, not too dissimilar for the reasons for coming here. But yeah, to go up there and play footy and see what happens. And thankfully, played some pretty good footy. Weird 2 years was the 2 COVID years though, so strange. And obviously, Kirsten was pregnant when all the trade period and all the free agency stuff was happening. So it was a bit stressful, but thankfully it all worked out. And loved my time on the coast. And difficult decision to leave. If you had my time again, who knows? But grateful that I had that experience and now get to head back there.
Can we just talk about that? Because 2021 was probably one of your best seasons. And then you get to the end of the season and the Suns make the decision to delist you with the commitment to redraft you as a rookie. And within 48, you've also tweeted back, I'm coming back on normal day on Monday and all good, whatever. Within 48 hours, North swoop in and sign you up.
Yeah. Well, again, 2020, 2021, played pretty good footy. I think I came 3rd or 4th in the BNF and was playing all right again. Did my knee again, thought it was my ACL. They told me ACL, so I thought that's career done.
Great.
Yeah, but ended up being MCL. So was instead of 12 months, it was 12 weeks, but it was late in the year, so it didn't really matter. I only missed 4 or 5 games and was on track to, with a conservative approach, on track to be fully trained by the beginning of pre-season, so that wasn't a problem. But yeah, they called me, and I remember Stewie called me and said, can you come in tomorrow? I'm like, geez, what's this going to be about? And he said, yep, we want to use you because experience. We don't want to use someone younger because they might not take it the right way. Do you mind? I'm like, it is what it is. Like, if it's me, if it's got to be me, it's got to be me.
Do
like, I
you
understand.
mind?
Do you mind? Do you mind? Pretty much like, pretty much, do you mind? You're 31, you're just coming off a knee, like, no one's going to want you, pretty much. Like, you'll be right. I'm
Yeah,
like,
great,
okay,
thanks.
yeah, sweet. So I
It's a
walk out there
real
going,
ego boost.
yeah, it hurts, but you know what? It's fine. I
Yeah.
don't mind. And I wasn't even going on the rookie list. I was literally just going straight back on the senior list. Nothing was going to
Okay,
change.
so no big deal.
No big deal. So that was on like the Monday, and then the Wednesday it all happened. The paperwork got lodged, and then so Friday was when free agency sort of period sort of started. And Friday I was meant to come in and do a session and sign my new contract, but one of the kids got crook,
Oh no.
so I had to stay home. So I called the lady and I said, "Oh, like, sorry, like I can't come in today. Like, kids are crook. I'll be there on Monday," because we're doing sessions on Monday, Friday. I was like, "I'll come in on Monday and sign it, no worries." And then Friday afternoon was when Nobes called me. He said, "Oh, do you mind if we have a chat?" And I said,
What now? You're
"What
probably
now?"
done with chats.
I know, but I was like, "Well, I owe it to you because you are the reason I'm here. Like,
Yeah.
you are the one that plucked me from
Wherever.
random footy basketball to come and give me a contract at the Crows." I was him and Abe and Shogilby, the only ones. They were the ones that believed me and said I could do it.
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh, at least like I owe it to you to hear you out."
Yeah.
And yeah, I heard him out and he painted a really good picture. And at the time, North had come off a really strong end of the year. Like, they won that game in WA.
Yeah.
I remember I flicked him a message. I was like, "Mate, great win." I remember watching it. I was like, "Great win." They finished really strongly. And I was like, "Geez, North are on the up." And I think obviously they sort of knew that Cunners was crook, so they needed someone to sort of come in and if he wasn't going to be there, to help out the young midfield group. So they painted a really good picture, and the role was play here give you an extra year, and then we'll transition you into coaching. And I was like, we'll get you coaching
Which is a
gig when
natural
you
step,
finish.
I think, for you, just being a leader.
Yeah.
And even like watching you on field or on the boundary during games over the past 3 seasons, you're always barking instructions. You're the first one to get around everyone.
Yeah.
I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, by the way. This is just people, for people who don't know, I think it's important for people to know that side of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he painted a great picture to come in here, help a young group. Pretty much what I'd done. I felt like at the Gold Coast, Noah and Took and Rowley and Flanders, like the next wave were coming through, and like the job had been done. Like I'd done enough to help them. They were definitely going to overtake me eventually, but I felt like they was certainly ready to take the next step, and I was going to do a similar role here. So I felt like that job was done, and this one was opening up, and again transition to coaching. But obviously got here, and it was poor old Nobes was done within the first. I think we got around 15 or 16, and he was gone, and all those plans went out the window.
Bit of news out of the Suns. They have delisted Hugh Greenwood and Rory Thompson.
It's got to be careful with these blokes.
But they would have had discussions.
I know, and it probably means less now than it would have. It doesn't even raise an eyebrow now, because you know they're playing funny buggers with the management, and they've got to get draft picks in, and then it'll bring it back on, and blah, blah, blah. All of that. But
It's upsetting.
Is there any chance a club might go, I'll tell you what, Hugh Greenwood played some damn fine footy during the year. I might take him.
No, you wouldn't do that, because they'd all have a gentleman's type agreement. Can you think of one club out there that would break that unwritten agreement that they might all have?
North Melbourne have come in with a mega offer, I'm told, over the weekend and come in and swoop. So before Gold Coast had the chance to redraft him, they've come in and picked him up as a delisted free agent. The paperwork's about to be lodged, I'm told, and he's going to play for North Melbourne next year.
I read the news on Wednesday, and my wife actually rang me and sort of said, I was at the airport on the way back to Victoria, so I rang him Friday, and it escalated from there.
Wait, so Mrs. Noble originally gave you the idea?
Well, I was just about boarding the plane, and she sort of sent me a text saying you should jump onto AFL.com. So I can't take all the credit. So she was very sleuth in her observations.
Has she been part and parcel of other recruiting decisions you've made, David?
Might be my secret weapon I'm letting out.
Yeah, again, and it happened within 48 hours. Had to drive up to Brizzy to do a medical, and the call had to be done by Sunday, because that's sort of when the period finished. So 48 hours, had to make the call, but it's been good. It's been fun.
It's been the best.
It's been good.
I'm going to say that. I'm biased.
It has. Yeah, it's had its challenges, but it's been good.
You've had some pretty special games. A couple that I wanted to touch on. The first was round 1, 2023. We played West Coast under the roof at Marvel, and Tristan Cherry was our only ruckman that day, who went down with an injury pretty early on, and ruckman Hugh Greenwood stepped in, and that was honestly a great performance.
It was fun. Yeah, it's probably a highlight. The first one, I think we beat West Coast the year before that, but that was like they had no like that was
like their waffle team.
Yeah, they
basically
had a waffle team.
Come in.
Yeah, and I think again you remember them all because there weren't a whole lot. We beat Richmond that year too, but then that one was cool. Yeah, round one, Clarko's first game. Prodex broke his ankle pretty badly in the first, and then had to jump into the ruck. And ended up winning again. And then I still the background on my phone. That was the game that the kids were able to come to, and so in the rooms after the game with them after a win, like we didn't get to experience too many, but that was a highlight of my time at North because obviously we won and the kids there, like they will never remember it, but the photos in the room and the vibe was.
That's a great story you can tell.
It was awesome. Yeah. It was really cool.
Another performance of yours that sticks out in my mind. We played the Bulldogs later that season, again, 2023, under the roof at Marvel. You go forward. You kick 2 goals in the first quarter. You take 1 ripper mark, 2 goals, and then I'm sitting here thinking, oh, he's on for a legacy game. At the end of the second quarter, you get knocked out and you're off with concussion. Quite badly.
Yeah, there was a patch, I feel like that was it. And then after that, I never played consistent. I don't think I ever played more than 3 games in a row since when Clarko arrived. I was playing some decent footy prior to that. I think I got coaches' votes against Collingwood, who ended up winning the flag. Like we should have beat Sydney. Like that game, like we came in, should have beat Sydney. We pushed Collingwood, we actually were playing, and then that Essendon game where I think it might have been Essendon when I got knocked out at half time, but we both got knocked out, but we still almost won that game. Like we were really competitive for a little patch, and then never played consistently again after that. But tried to basically fill holes where I could, sort of put my hand up and say, right, you need me to play forward? Yep, no worries. Need me to ruck? Yep, no worries. Need me to play lockdown? Yep, no worries. So just tried to fill holes as much as possible. Do you need me to go in the mid and like whatever.
Whatever, so, you were basically Mr.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, basically just plugging holes as best I could. So worked some weeks, potentially didn't work others, but once the season's, unfortunately in the time here, the seasons sort of got lost pretty quickly. Like we were... Like we obviously won those 2 games in
2023.
2023 won those 2 games, but prior to that, like 0-6 pretty quickly, 0-5 pretty quickly. So pretty quickly the season was done. It's like, all right, let's prepare for next year. This guy's 33, not going to be in our next flag. Sorry.
Greenwood, the clearance specialist, got him again.
Greenwood in the white long sleeve jumper. Mason Cox caught from behind. Good tackle.
Gibcus tried to shake and bake. Zerha could have marked it, gathered his crumb. The dance step from Greenwood, delightful, and the finish, exceptional.
This year, 2024, was your last season at North. You played 3 games, none of them in Melbourne, so I actually didn't get to see you play live. When your first game this season was Gather Round,
it was,
and I was ready to book a flight to come and watch you play.
Would have been a fortune. And Chommer's first game too.
Yeah, so you and Chom together, first game for the season, which would have been really special. Unfortunately, just my dad had to talk me off a ledge there. I was like, what are you doing? You then played Geelong the following week, and then you were dropped. Your last game was against the Suns in Darwin, and that week I decided to campaign on social media for your return. I think you had a few very strong weeks in the VFL, and I thought if you were going to get a chance, the conditions up there probably would suit you. And you said to me, you'll be the first person I message if I get the news. And there it was, Thursday afternoon.
Yep.
I got the message. I'm in.
But you're not, Good luck getting to Darwin, though.
Yeah, nice.
Good luck getting to Darwin. Yeah.
But you did play some really strong footy in the VFL this year. You actually made the squad of 40 for the best, like the equivalent of the All-Australian. What was that like, being able to, I guess, take on a bit of a leadership role in the VFL and help the young guys develop at that level?
Yeah, I guess I was sort of preparing for what life would have been like potentially afterwards. Obviously, the first half of the year playing as a second tall. Like I'm clearly not a second tall. Like I'm 190. In my 3 games, I played on Andrews, De Koning, and Mac Andrew. Like
it's like a recipe for disaster.
I definitely can play third tall. I've played third tall in Adelaide because that's where you get an advantage, like sort of that 190. So aerially, I've got long arms. I can compete in the air with someone my size. But then obviously when the ball hits the deck, then that's where my advantage is too. So
absolutely.
Third tall, loved it. Second tall, just
Feeling a
was
need.
hard. Yeah, and especially with the way we were trying to move the ball, like we were going really fast. So it was a lot of one-on-ones with the key. Whereas in the second half of the year, we changed our ball movement, made it predictable. We got more contest, we got more numbers. So it would have been nice to have sort of got an exposure to that. But again, the season was done pretty quickly in the year. So when the mid-year came around, like I said, I'm more than happy to continue to do it. But obviously, once we drafted Teeks, sat down and said, like, we'd love you to go back into the midfield. If an injury opens up, no worries, but we want you to help guide our young group and help out at VFL level. And again, if an opportunity presents itself, we'll certainly look at you if you're playing good enough footy. And so I just love, like, the guys at VFL level are so much fun. Like, again, a really young group. But you've got just a really fun energy and a fun vibe. You got your Finbars, you got your Riley Hardimans, you've got your Lazaros, you've got your Blakey Drury. So we built a really fun group, and Tommy Lynch is like, he's an absolute ripper. Like,
did you guys play together?
Yeah. So obviously having a connection prior certainly helped, but he just kept me engaged. Obviously knowing like it was going to be tough to play AFL each week, but making sure that come VFL that I was prepared and wanted to perform. And again, from a pride perspective, just come out and play, and obviously have a little bit of fun as well. But start to prepare for what life would have looked like after footy, and making sure that I didn't leave on a sour note, because obviously connections and the AFL world's a pretty small place, so depending on how you handle yourself in those situations. And then there's someone from each club it happens to every year. You just don't want it to be you. Like, there's always someone from each club that you look at and go, how are they not, like, why are they not playing? Like, what's going on? Like, geez, he's playing for good VFL footy. Like, why can't he get, there's one on every team, and so you just have to cop it.
It's been you for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, and I know, like, it's happened to my mate, like Matt Crouch at Adelaide. Like, he was an example, so what I stuck to. Like, he was in the twos for years. What's he going to do? And then all of a sudden comes back in, and now he's a regular again. Like another friend of mine, Will Brody's the same thing in Perth. Didn't play at the Suns a whole lot. Got to Freo and had a career year, and then all of a sudden he's not playing here. So there's someone from each club each year, and Rory Atkins, another mate of mine that's up there, and now he's on to Fiora. Like, so there's just so many. So unfortunately, it just happens. But I had Lynch to bounce off of. It happened to Mickey Barlow at the Gold Coast. So again, he was someone that I could communicate with and talk to with. So, but again, I just loved playing footy. So, like, I just loved hanging out with the boys and knowing that this isn't going to be forever. I just still get to come in each day and still get to play footy on a weekend and pull on the jumper. So, as hard as it was some weeks, knowing you're not going to play AFL because that's what your ultimate goal is, it was still, by the time the weekend rolled around, that all went out the window. I just loved it.
And one player in particular I want to touch on is Will Dawson. He came to the club.
Shoddy.
Came at the club.
Shoddy. It's easy to be flat. I didn't mention my man Shoddy. He just goes without saying.
I've got don't worry.
My son friend.
You guys have a really special relationship. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. Shoddy's. We got so lucky with Shoddy. Obviously, with having 5 draftees, trying to find enough host parents and families for them. Yeah. Again, put my hand up and said, "Would love to have one." And I was so fortunate that we got Shoddy. He just. If he would have been born like a week later, he would be this draft. Like, he's young. Like, he got there. Corey Maynard stitched me up. He's like, yeah, Will Dawson, ripper, big family. Yep, sweet. And he rocked up to my house, and his dad, with his old man, and brought all his stuff in. And I sort of looked out the window, and there was sort of only one car, and I was like, oh, like, is your dad staying? And he's like, oh no, I haven't got my license. And I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, I just haven't got my license yet. He's like, I'm meant to be getting it, and so. I was like, okay, that's all right, that's fine. I'm happy to drive you around. Still hasn't got it. Still hasn't got it.
He got comfortable.
Oh, he got comfortable, right? So I was his personal chaperone and chauffeur for the whole year. But it was worth it. It was almost like offset, like, I'll drive you around and be your dad. And because he was like a part-time babysitter for the kids.
Yeah.
But he was a big kid too. So, like, if Kirsten and I were just knackered, he would just be like, he'd see it and he'd be like, all right, let's go, kids. And he'd just wrestle the crap out of Titus, and Taj loved him. So they love Big Will. He ended up being part of the family. So we haven't seen him for a while. He's been back home. But, he's a ripper and such a good player too. I'm interested to see where they're going to play him. Like, big 200-centimetre defenders don't grow on trees.
Yeah.
Obviously, we experimented him as a forward ruck, which he can do. And he actually played some really good footy in the ruck. But with the big hole in the back line, like, you don't.
It'd be nice for him to develop there.
Just let him develop there. Yeah, I would have thought, because he's competitive as shit. Like, he's a competitor. He'll fight anything. So in terms of a big key defender, they don't come around very often. And obviously, with that being a hole of ours, like, I'm interested to see where they put him next year. But I'd love to see him play as a defender.
And you weren't playing consistently during the season at AFL level. You're in the VFL, and then the opportunity comes up to coach the women's team. How did that come about?
Yeah, again, coaching has always been a passion, and you got to start to prepare. You always sort of put it off, like, oh, I'll play forever, but you got to sort of prepare for what it might look like. And so when this opportunity came up to sort of help out, it was a no brainer. Again, continue to build on my coaching, but obviously be a part of a program that's really successsul. Like, the girls are bloody good.
They're unreal,
and it's been such a fun and refreshing change up. The energy is really cool. Like, the girls just are sponges. They just want to learn and learn and learn. And they're so appreciative of the opportunity and appreciative of being footballers, like, as they evolve to becoming more full-time. Like, it's just such a fun energy. Like, it's so good. And it's fun winning. Like, it's so good. Like,
this has been nice.
Fun
nice
winning.
change.
Like, yeah, that's right. Like, that's not a knock, but it's just reality. It's the losing's hard. Like, it's toxic on the soul. So it's been really fun to be. I'm envious. Like, I love singing the song and being out there on a good win.
You're still part of it, though,
yeah, you
coach.
still feel part of it. That's right. Yeah. So, but the girls have been so fun, and I thought they've been so just welcoming and understanding. Like, I'm still learning what it takes to be a coach, and still working on like how I communicate, how I run drills, and they're just like, they just let me be me, which has been fun. And the midfield group, I just sit under Pendles, who's been really cool too. It's his first year at the footy club too, so it's been fun to sort of just sitting in the background with him. And Croc's just a ripper, like, just
Amazing.
A great guy,
and like a real North Melbourne person who's been here forever.
Yeah. But it's been so good, and that, again, trying to stick around for as long as I can, because hopefully we go deep into finals. But hopefully the girls are making the footy club proud.
The sun is set now on your AFL career. You decided to retire at the end of the season. Did you ever think maybe going back to basketball, or you thought, no, I'm done now and it's time to move on to coaching?
Well, that was the plan. Again, I felt like I came out feeling really good. I was hoping when you get to the end of your career, your body's just shot and the decision's made.
You haven't been in the system for
that's
that
right.
long.
Yeah.
So
I think it was year 8 or 9, and had played and again, I got a knock on my Achilles like in the middle of the year, but prior to that, I'd never really missed a game other than a freak one where someone fell across my nest. I'd never done, other than like a soleus, which I was able to play through. Like, never missed a game. Never did a hammy. Never did a soft tissue. So finished the year feeling really healthy, and I was kind of like flat about it. It's like, I wish I was just shot and the decision was made for me.
Yeah,
but
an easy
it's
decision.
like, a part of me is like, it's just do it now, because these coaching opportunities might not come up again. You just don't know. And again, I sort of put my hand up to do a similar thing that I did this year, play VFL and sort of help out the young group again with knowing Pup was going to finish up, sort of say, all right, like, if you want me to do what I did this year, like, I'd be happy to. But then it looked like it wasn't going to eventuate. And so they were like looking to find maybe another role, and it just was like, nah, let's just quit while I'm ahead, in a sense. Like, body's feeling good, mind feels good, but a part of me is like, well, while it does feel good, what am I going to do? I don't think I want to go play state league footy or go down that path again without a carrot of playing AFL footy. Like, it's hard to stay motivated.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
Even though, like, again, playing VFL every game, even though I'm like, I was
There's a 1% chance.
Like, even though, like, just being on a list, I was like, I know. That's why every week I rocked up wanting to play my best footy, because I knew, like, okay, technically I'm still a chance. But without that, I just wasn't 100% motivated. So I was going to go play basketball, but once this opportunity came up to coach, like, it was just too good to pass up, and it just was never going to be there again. And I've got kids and a wife and a mortgage. Like, I can't just go and have a punt on low level basketball. You just never know. So
you don't know.
I've got to put the selfish athlete mentality aside and put the family first, which as athletes you don't really do. Really, like, Kirsten's followed me she's followed me to the States, to Tassie, to Perth, to Adelaide, to Gold Coast.
She's been everywhere.
She's been everywhere, and it's time for her she's finishing up her studies, and it's the kids have got to start getting in school. So wherever we want to, because we've moved so much, wherever we want to go, we want to just stay there. So we want, like, Gold Coast, like, it's just a perfect place to raise kids and live life. So, and I think it's a really exciting time to be part of that footy club too.
100%.
Like, Dimmer's there in his second year. We've got a really, really good young core, and be a part of the club as it hopefully makes its first finals ever in its history.
Well, now that you're going back, I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. We've seen what the girls have done. Thanks under my tutelage, so I'll just take the same thing up there.
Do you have any regret?
Any regret? Just the losses. Like you just always you walk away thinking you feel like you just could have done more, but there was just so many factors that sometimes just out of your control that it is what it is. But I just would have loved to have helped more in terms of winning. Obviously, the young midfield group's come along, which is great, and we've certainly shown some signs, but just came in here with a different vision and just wanted better for the boys, better for like the supporters who have like what's what I love about North is that while they're small in numbers, like they are mighty in passion. It is like if you're either like I said, there's not many of us, but the ones that are, they are North through and through. They've either been like either their family or they've been there from birth. Like they've been members for 50. Like they are like true passion, true Shinboners. So that's what I've loved is that and for them to sit through what they've had to sit through for years. So firsthand. You just feel responsible because you just wanted better for them. But hopefully it turns. I say it every year, but hopefully it does. Like there's no excuses why it shouldn't. Like the list, like. I know the list copped some heat and the boys copped some heat, but I think it was a bit unfair because obviously they're really young group and a really promising group. Like you've got X should have been AA.
Yeah.
She's, if he hadn't got injured, probably would have been around the mark. LDUs should have been at least in the squad. You've got Steve, unfortunately, is no longer, but again, he was a rising star. She's a rising star. We had Arch, 40, Colby, all these guys have been noms.
Yeah.
We had how many in the under 22s? We had Powley and
4.
we had 4 in the under 22s.
Yeah.
You had Chom, who was arguably most improved. You had Nick Larkey, All Australian full forward. You got you look at that and it's like that team shouldn't have had a worse percentage. No offense to Richmond, but they had half their team half the year. There's no
100%.
why? How did we have a worse percentage than them? How did we finish second? That list is it's got promise, and there's no reason why that should have finished the way they should have, based off just looking at it. And we had a healthy list, other than CJ and Goda, who were they were injured early in the year. Again, they're in it. I wouldn't say they're cemented
in and out still.
In 22, but we had a pretty much full list all year with all that talent and all that I hope it turns, and it should, and I hope there's not as much heat on the playing list because the talent is there and the players are there. So hopefully we can figure out why it hasn't clicked and how it can click.
I know that it's been a short and sweet 3 years, but I know that, it's that one thing with North is it's so rare that you do have relationships like this with the players. And I know that I've met so many players and people in the 20 odd years I've been a supporter, but our friendship means so much to me.
Thank you, Marty.
And I can't wait to see all of your growth and endeavours on the Gold Coast. Hopefully not more so than North. No offense.
None taken.
But it's been such a pleasure getting to know you over the last 3 years, and this is just we have a friendship for the lifetime.
Yeah, thank you. I know a little bit unbiased your support for me, but thanks for always staying in my corner and seeing it from a different lens, I suppose. Seeing Hugh, this is what he does these are his numbers on game day versus the impact that he might have away. So some people only sort of looked at one thing, whereas you're able to open up eyes and from a different lens. And I really appreciate that. Some of the stuff you think it goes unnoticed, and it can become a bit of a grind when you're not playing and the team's not performing, and it's loss after loss after loss, but I appreciate always being in my corner and being so supportive of the footy club at the same time. You can tell your energy and the passion for the footy club is awesome, and I hope this really works for you. I know it will. I know it will, and I know that it'll turn. And whenever we play North, it's either whenever the North play the Suns, it's either round 23 rubber match or it's up in Darwin somewhere. Yeah. But I hope it works out to where we can link up again and it's all taken off for you.
We will.
All right. All the best.
Thanks, Hugh.
No worries. Cheers.